I wish I'd have brought my gloves. Whew. Chilly.
But yeah, I've been kind of hibernating this winter, and this winter actually has been feeling way less. I don't know, like I still, I mean, I deal with depression, and it's definitely like made, like it's more intense in the winter. But I have been making an effort to not isolate myself as much, so that has probably helped. I've baked a lot this winter, and I've been trying to give myself time to properly rest and enjoy like the winter season for what it is. Instead of just like immediately when December hits, start like pining for the garden. And honestly, it was a lot of work this last year, and it's going to be a lot of work this year. So I just, I dove more into reading and did some painting and some other art. Speaking of other art, I started a new photography series that is dealing with grief and like just talking about how grief shows up in the mundane. So I've been really kind of embracing the winter shift. But now, like, I feel like now I'm starting to feel the excitement of on this side of Imbolc, or of where we're like halfway to the spring equinox, and like I can't plant out at that time. Like I'm still like it's still like winter for us in Baltimore City at that time in like March, but I'm starting to kind of like wake up a little bit from that. So, and one thing that I've learned from previous years is like previous years I have started seeds so early. I think partially I follow a lot of content creators and farmers and things on YouTube that are in the U.S. South. So like they tend to start their seeds a little earlier because it's still a little colder here by the time that they get to plant out. So for me, like May is what sometimes I can get away with like late April for summer things. Like if I'm doing something, and I will be doing things like brassicas, like kale, or leeks will be really early that I'll start. Then I really hope that I can get leeks to work this year. I think I just haven't started them early enough, but contrary to that, I just am trying not to start things too early because I've noticed that, especially like tomatoes, they really suffer being like in a pot for too long, or they become high maintenance, as in like I'm having to like fertilize them or give them more compost in versus just planting them out. So yeah, so I'm starting to patience, but I am starting to like kind of wake up in it and finding inspiration and seed catalogs, even though I'm not actually ordering a ton of seeds this year. I did order a couple that I didn't have that were interesting. But I also want to I want to focus on using the seeds I have. I have a lot. And also like saving seeds this year. Like I save seeds, which is funny. That's why I have so many. I have saved seeds and then I have new seeds that I purchase. But like, I just feel like, well, so one of the things about saving seeds is that you can't keep seeds forever. Their viability goes down. There is like a little caveat to that, like they have found some seeds that like hundreds of years old that they've been able to germinate, which is so cool. But that's not typical, and certain varieties don't do that as readily. Um, like for instance, like corn, like the viability of that goes down faster than like other types of seeds, kind of thing. Um, um, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh, so you have to like grow the seeds. You have to plant them in order for them to continue existing and for them to not be wasted. And you grow them and then you save seeds from those plants. And that's how you're able to save them and keep a seed collection. And what is really cool about that, and something I want to like focus more on, is like each season, the plant will grow and adapt to that season. And so I'm really excited to like grow a plant and save the seeds from it and then grow it the next year and have that, that learning from the year before. And then over more like years and years and years, it becomes more adapted to your space. In each space, whether it's like, you might be growing a native plant, or maybe that's a bad example. You might be growing a plant that was developed for your area. Like let's say like there was something that was from Maryland. But your specific site in your garden is going to be different than potentially the garden. I mean, not potentially, it will be different than the garden that it was grown in. And you have microclimates and unique edges and things that are different about your space. And so over time, like your plants will become acclimated to that. And that is so cool. I've been reflecting on things that excite me, that are that did well last year. I have been taking some records. I'm not like somebody who goes out and journals every time, but I do have some journal entries about going out into the garden and just observing. And I'm going to say a side note, like those types of things are like, I don't know, I always feel like they're a fun meditative practice, but they just bring me so much joy. So would recommend it. I don't always do it. I've only done it a handful of times in a season, but I'm thinking about those things and allowing myself to stay in this inspiration, creative, like almost as though like the ground is waking up, the world, but it's not. It's still resting, and so I'm still resting. I do have to do some work, like I have to prep for this, right? Like I am taking it in chunks. I am putting together my seed starting plan right now, and it is later than I normally do. But I've done pretty good. I do have a method to doing it. My first step is that I take out all my seed, where I have like I'll have to show it to you next time. It's a big box. It's like one of those photo boxes that like are from like Michael's or a craft store or whatever. And I just have them organized by like type, like peppers and stuff. So I take that out and I go through them. And I have a big bowl and I just I'm like, whoa. It's not getting hasty. I put every seed that I want to grow there, and I will go and like filter out what I end up not wanting to grow later. But it's kind of at this point I'm just like, oh, what am I inspired to grow? What do I know that I eat? And that's another thing. Another side note is one of the things that I'm focusing on this year is growing more things that I eat a lot of. So the amount of tomatoes, like canned tomatoes that go through in the winter for broths and soups and sauces and all of that is just wild. So I want fresh eating, but I also want to put up some tomato so I can maybe offset that from a little bit. And with everything going on in the world, I feel like that's a smart thing. Just like the cost of things going up alone, But yeah, so I've been thinking about things that I grow and want a lot. Like, what are the things in the winter or all the off season for these things did I miss when I was out of? Like, I didn't freeze enough peppers, or I guess I missed it, right? Like, I was able to make gumbo once with the okra that I froze, but gumbo. I need it more than once in the winter, you know? So, yeah, so I, I definitely am trying to focus more on those things. So when I go through the seeds, and that's what I've done that already. I went through all of them. I pulled out, I had a big bowl of seeds, and yeah. So now I did go through. I'm a spreadsheet gal. I do like organizing information a lot in that way. Not everybody is that way, and that's totally cool. But I went ahead and I did it slightly different, where I'm going to be doing it in 2 batches, but I put all of everything I wanted to grow, and that also includes some of the saved seeds that I've been saving that I haven't grown yet. And I have a couple seeds left, seeds that my grandmother gave me before she passed last year, and been holding on to them. And I'm just like, Mara, you know, you know that they, like, in order to save them, you have to grow them. And so I'm going to grow them this year too. So that's going to be very special. And I'm going to save the seeds, and I'm going to continue to grow them. They are a type of daisies and a type of Cosmo. So she was a big flower fan. So she also liked tomatoes, but I think she mostly grew early girl. So, but she gave me those seeds, and so I will forever cherish them. So, but yeah, I'm definitely in the romance part of seed starting, but starting to get into be like, okay, Mara, we have to get into the logistical planning. So I put them all on my spreadsheet, put their names in there, the type that they are, and write down the days that they take to germinate or emerge, and the days to maturity. And then if the seed packet has it, because I might have to go through and research, so not every seed packet has that. And then I put the around about like suggested when it says like to sow outside or sow in, so direct or transplanting. And then I write the how many weeks before or after last frost. So those are the things I write down, because what I'm going to go into next is that I'm going to get my calendar out, which I actually don't have a physical calendar this year. So we're going to try with Google Calendar, and if not, I'll just go buy one. But I then will look at that, and I look at my last frost date, which is, you know, like if you look up your area code and put last frost date, your area code, your zip code, and then your last frost date, then it will tell you approximately when you can expect it to not have a freeze in your area. And some sites also will tell you like what percentage of like, okay, you can start it. Mine's like, you can probably start it at end of April and be okay, but like likely not until May. In my experience gardening here is that I can start certain things to plant out earlier that are frost hardy, but I'm not putting my tomatoes out before May. And probably, I think there's the saying that after Mother's Day or on Mother's Day, it's hard to stay patient that long. Sometimes I'll do it at the beginning of May, but that does mean that I have to be a little bit more like aware of the weather and if they need to be covered if it's going to be a cold night. So there's a risk, you know. Anyway. But yeah, so I'm going to go do that. But I'm doing some other planning. I just got my big soil order for the year. So I am expanding my garden. So I'm adding, what was it? 6 beds. Oh, wow. Yeah. 6 beds. 6 new beds. Oh, wait, no, maybe 7. Because I'm thinking about adding one in the back. So it's a lot of new space to put together and fill. I also have my existing gardens to top dress with compost. I have my own compost bin. I do want to add another one this year. And yeah, so lots of plans to add on and grow. And I'm hoping to grow a little bit for my friends and community too. But I can't. I'm in excitement mode now, so it's just kind of holding things loosely, you know, like not like I'm still, yes, I'm going to be doing these things, but and striving for them, but understanding as the garden does, is it just kind of ebbs and flows, you know? I don't know what this is. But yeah, I know this video has gotten kind of long, and I kind of just like chatting with you all and letting you know what I'm dreaming about and thinking about. I'm taking a class, gardening like class and volunteer program that I'd be doing some work around Baltimore City too. So that is so exciting. So there's lots of things happening this year to help me focus on things that are not happening in the world. So and just side note as I'm focusing on those things, but it's what I should say is that it helps me feel hopeful about things I can do for my community when I'm active in these ways. So yeah, and also good food, right? All right. And my hope and desire is to keep uploading more and more this year. I took a little break over the winter, but I think I'm back now. And I'm filming on my camera, so maybe this is like official. So, okay. All right, I'm gonna go now. Thank you for talking with me, listening to me chat at you, and I will see you next time. All right. Bye.